Okay, hi guys, welcome. This is my actually first serious YouTube video. I had a few random, well, sort of a frag clips, but nothing really major. So anyway, I wanted to do something for this game. So I've been playing Battlefield 3 for 10 plus years. Sorry. Um, you all know me from the servers. My name is Traveler461. I've been playing mostly on Yah, no shared fantasy 24/7, a bit on PL Platoon, but 99% TDM. So I figured out that there is no weapon tier list or any similar clip on YouTube. So I wanted to do this for quite a long time. I will also leave my battle log in description. So if you guys want, you can add me and we can play together. But anyway, let's start with the weapon tier list. Just to note, this is only a weapon tier list for assault class or assault medic class, and it's well, every weapon here is probably assault rifle. I mean, not probably. These are all assault rifles except IS-Vol, but IS-Vol also functions really as an assault rifle. So anyway, let's get started. I don't have any particular order that I'm going, although I'm gonna start with weapons that you start playing with. Also, this tier list, I'll be talking about attachments, gun speed, gun reload, moving when aiming, stuff like that, long range encounters, mid range encounters, and close range encounters. So let's get started. Okay, so for the American team, of course, M16A3. Now, M16A3 has been the best weapon, I mean, best all around weapon in this game for quite a while. And probably it has been the most played weapon by good players for a long while until something changed like a few years ago. But I'll talk about that a little later. So anyway, all the pros they use this gun. It has 800 RPM. It's like best all-around weapon. It's extremely good on mid-range. It's also really good on in close range, and even when you are hip firing, it's really not that bad. On mid-range, it's amazing, and it does really well also on long range. So yeah, it takes use. It gets. Oh, sorry, it takes some time to get used to recoil on long range, but yeah, the weapon is really good. No, though, when you're starting the game, like when you're playing with the uh, American starting loadout, basically with this weapon, it has a problem that its iron sight is really bad. This weapon's iron sight is so goddamn bad, like one of the worst. But anyway, you quickly get a red dot attachment. About the attachments, well, there are few builds you can play. You will always have to go like either red dot or cobra sight. That's, I mean, no philosophy there, right? Some people play foregrip, some people don't play foregrip. I think it's like the personal use. I do pretty much similar with either with foregrip or without the foregrip. Um, and yeah, some people use flash suppressor. It's actually really good. I use it sometimes, and like playing Cobra sight and flash suppressor is really cool. It's really great. So yeah, I use flash suppressor. It's surprisingly well. So also silencer on this weapon is pretty decent. So yeah, this weapon, well, this is the best all-around weapon. Not personally for me, but looking what people do, how they play, the all-around capability. The weapon doesn't have some crazy recoil to master. It's really easy to master, and you can do wonders with it. And for a long time, like a lot of pro players played with this weapon, and I think this weapon is like absolute S tier, like no philosophy there. So that's about the M16. Pardon if I'm taking some of my time editing, but yeah, that's it. So M16A3 absolute S tier. I told about the attachment, so heavy barrel or flash suppressor, foregrip if you personal preference, but yeah, that's about it. All right, let's continue now. For um, for the Russian side, the AK-74M. Also, yeah, I forgot about the M16. I forgot the reload speed on this weapon is amazing. It has probably the one of the best, if not the best, reload speeds. It's like if it's having bullet in chamber, it is like 1 second and a half or something, or even less. So it has a real amazing. So what can happen is like you kill two people, you manage to reload, and you're ready to go, and you get another frag and stuff like that. So yeah, it I forgot about the reload speed. It probably has the best all around stats and best reload speed in the assault class category. All right, so let's continue. Now on the Russian side, we have AK-74M. Now AK-74M, well, for starters, this weapon, it is a starting weapon, right? It is pretty decent, pretty decent. It has like 600 RPM. It has much better iron sight. So when you're starting the game, the weapon is like really cool. So much easier to pick up. Uh, but however, unlike M16, it only does decent on long range. It's only good decent on long range. On medium range, it gets outclassed by, well, almost all rifles here. Like almost all, not all. Um, well, on the long range, it's really good. If you take heavy barrel and Cobra or red dot sight, you can use foregrip with it. So this weapon, well, if you go to any server, you want, like, you can see somebody playing. I can take this weapon and do a pretty good score, right? I have like 4.5 kill death ratio in this game, but um, with this weapon, I don't know. I will be limited, especially in mid and close range category. It also has longer reload speed, so yeah, it's really limited. So I would put this weapon in like B minus. It's like, or C plus. It's like uh, it's not useless. You can do pretty well, especially when you're starting the game. But yeah, it gets outclassed. I'm gonna put it here in C plus, but we'll see. Maybe I'll put it in B minus. But anyway, I'm gonna take it in C plus. Okay, so I'm gonna continue. So next weapon. Hmm. Well, let's talk about, we had an AK and an M16. Let's M416. Yeah. Now M416. Um, there was basically one patch when M16A3 got nerfed. That was long ago, a bit, and this weapon M416 it got buffed. Uh, Basically, it rolled. I think its reload speed got buffed a little bit, and overall, this weapon is really good. Now, this is extremely good weapon in mid range, and it's really good in long range. Uh, Although M16A3 I think is better a little bit in mid, and this weapon is a little bit better in long range. However, the lower firing rate, it means that, um, well, it has also a really great reload speed, but it means that this weapon, like, you can get 2 kills. You don't need to reload after every kill, so that's really cool. They're like, it's, and this weapon is like with red dot sight and with the Cobra, but especially with red dot sight, it's really deadly. Like, there are people that I play with or against that are like, there is one player that's really good with this gun. He does wonders. So that I know. So this weapon is a beast in like good hands. It can do pretty good. You can definitely main this weapon over well, almost any weapon here, so you will do wonders. It's really cool and it's really good. What I would put it is like, well, I would put it in A minus, but since I know a player that's really good with it and does wonders, I'm gonna put it in A plus. I think this weapon like is really good. I think it's extremely good. I think it can do wonders, and yeah, you can do pretty good with it. It has a reload speed similar to M16, so yeah. All right, let's continue. Next weapon, the Ike. Now, the Ike. For a long time, Ike was like after M16 A3. Ike was my favorite gun. I also like on my old Battlelog account with Ike. Well, I had almost as many kills with M16. It's this weapon is deadly close range. Like it has 900 RPM. It's deadly, like really deadly in close range. Uh, and it does like pretty decent in mid range. Sorry. However, it's extremely bad on long range. Like long range with this weapon is impossible. Like it's really bad. So you should like put a Cobra sight or a dot sight. Heavy barrel is a must on this weapon. Like you can try flash suppressor, I tried it, but heavy barrel is a must. And because it has a lot of recoil, foregrip is because of big RPM. Foregrip is also like almost a must. It also has a much longer reload speed, like 2.8 and 3.2 seconds, I think, when it's all empty. Or no, it was like 2.8 when it's completely empty, at 2.5, I think, when it has a barrel in chamber, when one in chamber, sorry. But anyway, sorry if I'm wrong, correct me here, but it has a longer reload speed than uh, M16 and the M416. Now, there are people that play really good with this weapon. They main it. I used to main it, but unfortunately, in TDM, the most played map by far is Nosher Canals, and that map has a lot of long range fighting, especially from like trains to the docks against snipers. And this is where this weapon really falls off. You have to rush a lot with this weapon, but you need to be like precise. You need to be really good with the secondary weapon because you will get out of ammo really fast with this gun. Unfortunately, this weapon I made a mistake here. I didn't put I put B plus and B. I'm gonna correct this because of the nostalgia. Because I used this weapon that lot, because I really love it. I like the model. Probably the hottest looking weapon. I'm gonna put this in B plus, although realistically it should be in B. But well, anyway, this is my video. I can do whatever I want. So sorry about this. Let's correct it. Okay, we're ready. All right, so let's continue. Now, um, what's the next weapon we're gonna talk about? All right, well, I'm gonna go AUG and I'm gonna go Iron. Now, AUG AUG is just M6, M416, but worse, much worse. It's worse in every aspect. It has lower firing rate, lower reload speed, I think lower recoil. Everything about this weapon is like much worse than with M416. I'm not gonna talk about this weapon. There are people who do really good with this weapon. You can do pretty good with this weapon, but it's not a good weapon. I'm gonna put it because now it's a viable weapon, and I'm gonna put it in like B. This is where it belongs. That's maybe too much. Maybe it's realistically in B minus. But since I've seen some good players with it, I'm gonna put it in B. Alright, now we're gonna talk about my personal favorite weapon. Now, IR-94. For a long while, people didn't play this gun. Like, this was underrated gun. They did some changes to it here and there, but nothing too special. Now, when I started playing this game, I used to main M16A3, and I did really good with it. And the only people that I had problems against were people who played this game for a long time and they played N94. So I didn't know why. I started playing I-94 and I had so much trouble with it. I was really bad, but I started learning it. Now, What you will see in Battlefield 3 is the shift in meta 3 or 4 years ago. There were pro players, the best ones. They started using this weapon. The unique feature of this weapon is, of course, the two burst system. Now, this is in reality also done on this weapon. It is the only weapon capable of having not having recoil for first two bullets. And of course, because of that, in reality, in real world, this weapon has like amazing firing rate. It has 1,800 RPM firing rate. So yeah. Also, it has like 13 parts, and it has a very complicated mechanism. So this Abacan is not that well rounded, and because it's expensive and it takes a lot of knowledge to train people for its maintenance, it didn't get like overwhelmingly sold to Russian military, but some special forces have it. Anyway, in the game, this weapon, it has, when you double tap the burst fire, it has around 1100 RPM, which is the fastest by all the weapons. Now, when I started playing this game with this weapon, sorry, this weapon, I used like Cobra or Red Dot Sight, foregrip, and heavy barrel, right? Now, with that setup, there are a lot of people that mainly use that setup on this weapon. And with that setup, this weapon is really good on, like, probably maybe even the best weapon in the mid range. It's good in, like, decent in long range, and it's also really good in close range because of the high RPM. Also, it's really precise and accurate, so when you're hip firing, it's also really good. However, when I started playing a little bit more, when I started learning the weapon, there was some guy I played against one time. He got a few kills on me from some really cool angles. So he had pick a hollow on the weapon that he had that side. So after that, I tried it myself, and this weapon with that picker hollow, it's absolute for me. It's absolute beast. Like this weapon is deadly on long range. It's deadly on mid range. And it's also really good, like extremely good on close range. It has like the only downside is the reload, like all the AK weapons. It's like the reload is higher than on M16A3, but with that, like, because you also stop firing because of the two burst fire, you can get like two kills and then reload. So it does really well. It doesn't like drop ammo like AEK. It has all the advantages over AEK. It has like I think a little bit better reload speed, but anyway, the accuracy of this weapon is next level. This is the absolute beast. Like if this was like my personal, but I didn't want to go that way, I would put this weapon in like S plus tier for me because this is by far the best weapon for me. When I played with M16 and with AEK, I had like about 3.8 kill death ratio, which is a lot, right? But yeah, and with this weapon, I have 4.5. This is the best weapon for me by far, and my personal favorite weapon. There are also players that only use this weapon. I only play with this weapon. Also, when you play scrims in like 2025, people mostly use this weapon. So I'm gonna put it in S tier, obviously, and this is the best weapon for me. So yeah, okay, I'm done talking about Abacan. Let's continue. Now, F2000. F2000. There was a period of this game long ago where this weapon was used by the pros because it was best all around weapon. It had best everything. Also, this weapon has best biggest movement speed when you're aiming down the sight. It's extremely overpowered basically in close range, and it's decent in mid range. It's useless in long range. This weapon doesn't do anything in long range. You can hit it, but in mid range, it's okay, decent, and in close range, it's deadly. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that you need to rush. This is a weapon used by rushing players. So, sounds really cool, right? Well, yeah, no. If you're like having a team that's winning, this weapon is really good because enemy is like getting flanked. You can flank, you can rush. This weapon is godly. Then it has a good speed, it has good reload, it has firing rate. It's really good. So yeah, but what's the problem? Well, the problem is if there is like a slug on the server, if like the teams are similar in strength, the tickets are same, or like the enemy team is even winning, that's the problem. This weapon then you can't rush, you can't use it basically. And you can't use this weapon like if you are getting pummeled down against your team, and you can't defend with this weapon. Unlike, for instance, with I-94, like there's some special places on North Canals when I'm in like losing team. It doesn't matter how many tickets I'm losing, no matter like if I'm getting camped by C4 paratroopers, I'm gonna use I-94. I'm gonna defend those places from deadly angles. You can't do this with this weapon because it mid range. It's really bad, and I mean that's the worst, but it's bad, not that good, decent. Let's say decent. In long range, it's useless, so you can't properly defend yourself. So, but there are people who rush who do really well with this weapon. So I'm gonna put this weapon. I'm gonna put it in like B plus. Yeah, that's about it. All right, let's continue. Now there'll be some surprising results here, but let's continue. Now, um, let's talk about one more best weapon, the KH 2002. Well, this weapon is surprisingly good weapon. Uh, it's like worse version of I-94, but it's really good. Now, with this weapon, there are people who are amazing, really amazing. They do pretty well, and this weapon is good, but it's not that deadly as sorry, not Ayak, as I-94. It does everything the same. It's really good on long range. It's great on mid range, and it's semi decent on close range. But however, in close range, Iron is much better. This weapon is really not that good in close range. You can get a kill, but it's not that good. Um, on mid range, I-94 is better, and on long range, I don't know, they're somewhere similar, but I think Iron is a little bit better. So yeah, this weapon, it has like bullprop design and everything. It has, I think, a little bit less reload, but anyway, the worst version of I-94, although I like it. It's decent. I do really good with it when I pick it up. So I'm gonna put it in A minus. Yeah, maybe it's a surprise for you, but anyway, A minus. All right, let's continue. Now, Gate 383. Now, this Gate 383. Well, this weapon, this is like a sleeper weapon, right? Similar to a 94. For a long while, people didn't really do well with this weapon. It has a low RPM, like 550, I think, or I think it's 550. However, it fires heavy rounds. This is the only weapon that does more damage than all other assault rifles. All other assault rifles, they do 25 to drop like to 17.5, I think, or 18. I don't exactly remember, but I think it's 17.5 damage, depending on the range. However, this weapon, it has much more damage. Its starting damage is greater. I don't exactly remember, but anyway, this is a sleeper weapon. This weapon in current meta is extremely strong. There are people who play this weapon on our share canals and they do wonders with it. They make some great scores. It's really deadly on long range. Like in long range, this weapon, if you're like playing that, like one of the things that I like about Battlefield is that this game is different from Call of Duty or Counter Strike or other shooters because this game doesn't have like it has that tactical moment, right, when you position yourself, when you pick your fights, when you pick the weapon you want for which fight. So this weapon is always used on long range. On long range, this weapon is amazing. It does wonders. On mid range, it's decent, and it's useless on close range. This is the worst weapon in close range. Now, because I've seen people play it, because I've seen what they do, because I'm also really good with it, I'm gonna put it in like A minus, although realistically this weapon, it should be put in like A plus. but I'm gonna put it in N minus. It is really weak when you're like getting swarmed and rushed. If there is somebody not covering you, like if, for instance, if you're on trains, you're camping trains, right? You're holding the position, and with like I-94, you're gonna burst down like long range. You're gonna kill somebody in mid range, right? With this weapon, if somebody gets close to you with it, like I don't know, this weapon or this weapon, you're dead. There is no chance. And even with like these two weapons, you're dead. There is no chance. So I'm gonna put it in A minus. I think it deserves it. Okay, let's continue. M16A4. Well, it's basically the same version of M16A3, but with burst. Well, it's decent, but nobody really uses it. It has kind of no point. I'm just gonna put it in like B minus. I'm not gonna talk much because everybody uses M16A3. You can play really good with this weapon, but there is no reason because this weapon is like M16A3 is like 50 times better. There is some like real life complications why they build this with burst fire, but I'm not gonna get into it. It has like reasoning in reality, so people don't waste their ammo, stuff like that, and they panic. But let's continue. All right, so three more rifles and the PDW. So um, this L85, like L85 is like the English weapon, and it's not good. It's really bad. It's don't play this rifle. You can do good. It's good in like long range. I mean, you can do good in this game with any weapon, like any weapon. However, it's not good. It's not really good. It's only decent in long range. In mid range, it's not good. Yeah, sure, I can get a kill here and there. Also, it has like a big model, so it takes half of your screen, and it's really bad. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's not useless. It's not in D tier. Like it's like you can get kills with it, but it's really bad. All right, let's continue now. FAMAS, FAMAS. FAMAS is like Ike from AliExpress or Temu. FAMAS has like the best firing rate in the game. It's 1,000 or 950. I don't try. I think it's 1,000. Like the biggest after Iron, but it's a burst, so basically the biggest automatic. However, this weapon is really bad. First, it has like 26 or 27 bullets, and it's really bad. Like it's only decent when you're rushing. The only possibility you can do with this weapon is like rush, and it's good for rushing. That's the only. But it also has a long reload speed. If you like take out all of your bullets, which you will because it has retarded firing rate, there is like the big reload speed. So basically, when you play this weapon, you need to be good with your secondary, and mostly you need to play a Magnum or Rex as a secondary weapon, and those weapons take a lot of skill. So I don't know, like why would you ever play this weapon? Because F2000 does everything much better. It's like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna have love for Pharmacy. I thought putting it in like B minus, but anyway, I'm gonna put it in B. Yeah. All right. So Scar Scar, it's bad. It's bad because again, it's really good on long, decently good, not really good, decently good on long range. Yeah, it's bad on mid range and it's useless in close range. It has well decent reload speed, but nothing special. Recoil is not that bad, but anyway, it's a really bad weapon. I don't see a point. Like even like the Iron 74, I think is better than this weapon. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I'm not gonna talk a lot about it. Scar H on Engineer is much better for some reason. It's deadly on long range, so when you're like playing on Nosher canals and you see enemy snipers camping the fucking crane, you take Scar H and RPG and you take them out. That's the point. But this weapon, no, no. Now the Asphalt. Now this is not assault rifle. However, assault can use it like any other class, and I like it. This weapon is really good. Why is it really good? This is the only weapon that has built-in silencer. Now all the PDWRs they have a problem because they don't have heavy barrel, and they need extended mags and Cobra sight for them to be like decent. But this weapon, it has a built-in silencer, so that's really cool. This weapon has like 900 RPM. Uh, Again, this is a weapon not used by assault class only. This weapon can be used by any class. Anyway, this weapon is really good in some situations. First of all, it's really good when you're like parachuting and flanking because it has a silencer. It's really good in those situations. You can get some extremely good flanks. It has like great reload speed. Uh, it has built-in silencer. It has like I think its bullet velocity is somewhere like 300 meters per second in the game. Unlike these weapons, they have like I don't know 600 or 700. So anyway, this weapon is good when you're like shooting somebody who is like standing, or when you're like assaulting a position where there are enemies that are basically camping or doing something similar and they don't have attention on you. Now, this weapon is not that good like when you're encountering directly with other weapons. Like if you're getting shot by M16A3 or M416, that guy has an advantage, especially if he has a heavy barrel and any decent player has it. So it's not that good in encounters. But it has its value, it has its use. The built-in silencer is really cool. Also, the weapon looks really cool, feels extremely satisfying. Like this weapon is extremely satisfying to play. The recoil is non-existent basically. So yeah, I like this weapon. It's like I'm not playing that much, but I had some relative success with it. I'm gonna put it in B plus. So yeah, well, anyway, I would like first of all to thank you for sticking up to the end of the clip. I'm gonna link my battle log if you guys want to play. I'm also gonna link my Discord if you guys want to join and talk about. Also, if you think that if you disagree or agree or you want to add some comments or anything to this tier list, I would be more than happy uh, to read all the comments and your suggestions. Also, I'm just starting up YouTube. I'm thinking about twitching and about clipping the game. But anyway, I would like to thank you for watching the clip to the end, and I'll see you guys on the servers. Thank you. Cheers.